This is the third issue about the principled negotiation method. In the last issue, it was my recommendation to separate the people from the problem and to address the people problem consciously. The second principle is to focus on interests rather than on positions. Think about two people arguing in the library. One wants the window to be opened and the other one wants it to be shut. Now, maybe one has the better arguments for being like a bodybuilder and the other one is just skinny like I am, and so we might agree not to open the window. But maybe we're civilized people, and so we try to reach an agreement by using a compromise. We might open the window halfway or 3/4. Sounds like position of bargaining, right? So this might be a way to reach an agreement that we are all equally unsatisfied with. But if we look at the interests that lie behind our positions, I want the window to be open to get some fresh air, and the other one wants it to remain shut to avoid the draft. Now, that is something we can work with. It might be a solution to open a window in some other room, or maybe we can open this window if we just switch places. Let's talk about a real negotiation. Back in 1978, there was a peace treaty signed between Egypt and Israel in Camp David. 11 years earlier, Israel had occupied the peninsula of Sinai. Now, in Camp David, they had seemingly incompatible positions. Egypt demanded back every single inch of the peninsula, while Israel refused to release certain parts of it. Sinai is a historically very important piece of land. It was the interest of Egypt to get it back to sovereignty. Israel's interests were about security. They didn't want to have tanks right in front of their border. Knowing these interests, I bet that you would have come up with the solution that took them quite a while. Sinai was returned to Egypt, and at the same time a demilitarized zone was established. What are the interests of the other party, and what are my basic interests? These two questions seem so simple, but if you can customize yourself to asking them regularly, then you already do better than, I bet, half of the foreign ministers of this world. Let's talk about hard and soft negotiation styles. When a hard negotiator buys your car, he will try to let you think that it's actually you who owes him money. If you don't obey, then he will try to make you suffer. A soft negotiator is likely to make sacrifices on the substance in order to improve the relationship. Usually the soft negotiator is eaten up by the hard negotiator. But if the tough one just made the weak one sign a insurance contract, for example, then it's kind of likely that the soft one will cancel the next day. So which of the two should you be? It's my recommendation to be neither. Be hard on the substance, but soft on the people. If you insist on your position, you're basically playing hardball. Insisting on your interest is something completely different. It's absolutely legitimate for Egypt to strive for sovereignty, and it's legitimate for Israel to look for safety. and it's also absolutely legitimate that you want your kids to be safe. When you ask somebody to change his or her behavior, tell him your problem first. If you call the president of a construction company and you tell him that he should order his trucks to drive at walking speed, then he is likely to hang up on you. If you instead tell him how one of your kids was this morning almost run over by his red gravel truck, and you're therefore interested in securing your son's way from school to home, this is something completely different. When you tell them your problem, be very cautious not to blame them. Look forward, not backwards. Don't focus on how it has been wrong, but instead how you want it to change. Acknowledge their interests to be part of the problem you jointly try to solve, and make your own interests explicit so they can understand and accommodate them. Do not agree unless you feel that your interests are taken care of. Separate the people from the problem and address the people problem consciously. Focus on interests rather than on positions. The remaining two principles are invent options for mutual gain and insist on using objective criteria. I will focus on them in the next issue.